Christopher Aaron Morris was born on the 3rd of March, 1989, in Del Rio, Texas. By childhood, he was living with his father, Carl Morris, on the grounds of Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita County, Texas, in the military housing community. He remained there until his untimely death at age 11. By all accounts, he was well liked by his peers at Tower Elementary School, although some uncorroborated statements posted online later suggest he had encountered harassment from older students at some point. On the 25th of September 2000, during fall break, when all the kids in the county were at home from school, Christopher's family went out for their usual morning routines, leaving Christopher at home alone. According to a podcast and other secondary sources, Christopher's father, Carl, arrived back home around noon for lunch and found Christopher missing. Carl reportedly checked Christopher's bedroom and found the dishwasher racks removed and placed on his bed or floor in a disordered manner. On noticing this odd arrangement, he proceeded to check the dishwasher. Inside the appliance, instead of the expected dish racks, he discovered Christopher's wet, naked body, and according to many versions of the story, he had been battered or injured. The report states that his body had gone through a full dishwasher cycle, possibly washing away fingerprints or other DNA evidence that might have helped investigators. From this point, the case takes a turn into the strange and ambiguous. Despite the extremely irregular and brutal circumstances of the death, the case was never publicly and conclusively determined as a homicide, at least in publicly available records. The details of the investigation are sparse. Those that do exist tend to be sensational in tone and difficult to verify. The autopsy results were never made publicly accessible. According to some sources, the autopsy findings were unreliable or delayed, with pathologists ultimately attributing the cause of death to injuries sustained while inside the dishwasher. In addition, Christopher's clothing from that day and his bedsheets reportedly were never recovered. These missing items have been cited online as part of the mystery. The family, including the father, did not appear publicly to be suspects. The father had reportedly been teaching on the base before his lunch break and found the scene himself. The investigation beyond that point becomes murkier. Who entered the home? Why was Christopher placed in a dishwasher and run through a cycle? Why were key items missing and the autopsy results withheld or ambiguous? These are questions that linger. What is particularly puzzling is how little mainstream media coverage exists, given the horrific nature of the event. A child found dead inside a dishwasher on a military base housing community. Searches return almost no traditional news articles from the time covering the death or the investigation in detail. Some online researchers have noted that even nationwide newspaper archives yielded minimal mention. On one hand, Christopher's obituary was located in the 30th of September 2000 issue of the Tulsa World, Oklahoma, confirming the basic fact of Christopher's death. But the obituary gives no specifics about cause or circumstances. Curiously, much of the online memory of the case resides in forums, blog commentary, Reddit threads, and podcast episodes rather than formal journalism. A blogspot page called Penile Code Avenger includes a post about child abuse deaths on military installations, though it does not explicitly mention Christopher in the main article. In its comment section, however, many commentators claim to know Christopher personally or to have been part of the base community at the time. These comments mention that Christopher was essayed, tortured, murdered, and his body run through a dishwasher, a description far more graphic than any official source has confirmed. In one comment on that blog, a poster wrote,
"I lived in Wichita Falls, Texas for a long time. A few years ago, a young boy was found in the dishwasher of his family home, which was inside the base. He had been essayed, tortured, murdered, then his body ran through a full cycle in the dishwasher. Very hush-hush."
Another commented,
"I was in Christopher's class. I remember the last conversation we had. The following week he wasn't in class, and I heard that he was found in a dishwasher and that it had been run."
The tone and style of many of these comments are unusual. Repetitive phrasing, emotional tone, references to street names and base housing, phone numbers or email addresses, and surprisingly uniform in syntax. Some researchers have noted that these comments appear to be from users who know each other, or possibly the same user posting under multiple aliases. Some of the comments have reportedly been deleted over time, since approximately 2021, which adds another layer of oddity. Because of the base housing context, some believe that the military connection may have contributed to the limited transparency. The death occurred in military housing on a U.S. Air Force base, under jurisdiction that may involve military police and base security protocols rather than standard civilian processes, which can result in different reporting or public information practices. One base newspaper reportedly published a short piece that seemed to offer little reassurance and advised residents not to worry too much. Because of the lack of publicly available detailed investigation results, a number of theories and questions have emerged and remain unanswered. Was Christopher's death an accident, a homicide, or something in between? For example, foul play that was covered up. Given that the dishwasher latch presumably requires external force, the theory of an accidental entrapment is considered unlikely by many commenters. If it was homicide, who was responsible? No name of a suspect appears in the publicly accessible sources. Why were key items, his clothing, bed sheets, missing from the record or not reported? Why was the autopsy never released publicly? At least not in the sources uncovered by independent researchers. Why has the case largely vanished from mainstream media archives, despite its grisly circumstances? What is the origin and trustworthiness of the extensive commentary online from individuals who claim personal knowledge of the incident? Was there any cover-up or suppression associated with the military housing jurisdiction, base security protocols, or chain of command legislation that might have limited civilian access to records? Beyond the unanswered questions, the case has become somewhat of an internet anomaly. A gruesome death, minimal official coverage, and heavy user-generated commentary in odd places. Some researchers have even raised the possibility that the case might have been distorted or embellished as a kind of internet legend. One article described the case as follows: "What happened to Christopher Morris on September 25, 2000 is something that should have dominated headlines. Instead, it seems to have vanished into the ether, leaving behind only fragments of information and a trail of unusual internet breadcrumbs. Despite the passage of more than 2 decades, no definitive public resolution appears. The name of Christopher Aaron Morris lives on in online forums, Reddit discussion threads, podcasts. One episode of the show, Catch My Killer, is devoted to the case. But the hard evidence, formal disclosures, and investigative conclusions appear absent from publicly accessible official archives. In the end, this is the story of a child living on a military base who died under extraordinarily disturbing circumstances, and whose death remains officially unresolved and publicly obscure. It raises broader issues about jurisdiction, record keeping for military community incidents, the reliability of online memory and commentary, and the potential for certain tragedies to fall through the cracks of public accountability. In the broader context, the death of Christopher Aaron Morris reflects the uneasy intersection between tragedy, institutional opacity, and the digital afterlife of forgotten cases. Whether his death was the result of foul play, negligence, or something more complex, the absence of verifiable records has allowed speculation and folklore to fill the void left by official silence. This case underscores how digital communities, forums, podcasts, blogs, and comment sections have become modern repositories for unresolved histories, keeping alive stories that otherwise might have been lost to bureaucracy or indifference. Yet, the proliferation of unverified accounts also highlights the fragility of truth in the internet era, where memory, rumor, and misinformation blur together. His story endures as both a haunting mystery and a cautionary example of how certain lives, despite their significance, can fade from public record, sustained only by the persistence of those unwilling to let silence stand in place of truth.